Good morning. I am Portia Connor, and I have the pleasure of being the Early College of Forsyth liaison. I welcome everyone to the class of 2017 graduation. I have been with these students for the last 4 years, and I have watched as they have grown into amazing young adults. Over the last 4 years, they have worked hard and been challenged with their shares of ups and downs. Today, their hard work and determination is paying off, and we salute and celebrate them. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we welcome the class of 2017. Thank you.
If you'll please remain standing, we will now have Olivia Chiat, Jr. from the class of 2018 singing our national anthem. Thank you. You may be seated. We will now have the Director of Educational Partnerships, Kimberly Bryant, with a welcome from Forsyth Tech.
Good morning. We are pleased that you are here to celebrate such a momentous occasion with us today. First, I would like to thank the parents, grandparents, and other close relatives. Without you, these graduates would not be sitting here today. I'd also like to thank the staff and faculty of the Early College of Forsyth. In addition, I would like to thank the administration of the Winston-Salem-Forsyth County School System, as well as Forsyth Tech Community College, who provides the resources and guidance that we need to make events like this possible. Last but not least, I would like to thank the students. We are so proud of you here at Forsyth Tech. I have heard such wonderful things about you since coming here. Maya Angelou once wrote, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." If I could use those same words today, I would say, you may forget what is said here today. You may forget what was done here today, but you'll never forget the feeling of accomplishment that you feel here today. Take that with you, okay? On behalf of Forsyth Technical Community College, I would like to welcome you to the commencement ceremony for the 2017 graduates of the Early College of Forsyth. Thank you.
We will now have Deanna Taylor, Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board Member, with a welcome from the school system.
Good afternoon, and congratulations, class of 2017. I bring you greetings, and I welcome you all on behalf of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education. I do want to take a moment to thank all of our parents and our family for all of their love and support of their student. I want to thank our teachers and our administration for their commitment. And I want to thank you all and congratulate you all for such a great accomplishment. Congratulations to you all. It is our hope that you feel ready to make your very own mark on the world. We're rooting for you. We're pushing for you. We want you to set goals, make them high, and whenever you reach those goals, set some more goals. There's a quote that says, "The secret to getting ahead is getting started." So whatever it is you want to accomplish for your future, right now is the time to get started. Again, congratulations. We thank you, and we're rooting for you all. We wish you all the best. Thank you.
I'd like to start with a recognition of special guests. Excuse me. On stage, we have Dr. Jewel Cherry, Vice President of Student Services at Community College, Dr. Joel Welch, Vice President of Instructional Services from Forsyth Tech Community College. Do we have any elected officials in the audience? If you'll please stand. Do we have any other VPs from Forsyth Tech in the audience? Dr. Alan Murdoch, thank you. And, excuse me. And Anne-Marie Smith, Chief Human Resources Officer, and Dr. Rachel Damaris, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer. Are there any Board of Trustees members from Forsyth Tech? I'd like to recognize any Forsyth Tech administrators and deans. Any Forsyth Tech instructors? My favorite of all, Early College of Forsyth alumni, if you guys. Thank you. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce your class of 2017 President, Christian Davila.
Good afternoon. I would like to thank any friends, observers, faculty, families, and of course the graduates themselves for being in attendance for this monumental occasion. My name is Christian Davila, and as the Early College of Forsyth Senior Class President, I have been privileged with the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to stand before a collection of the brightest, most talented, and amazing people I know, and to deliver a speech to them as we approach the end of a long journey. In a psychology course I took back in sophomore year, I heard a really interesting fun fact that I would like to share with you all today. As we grow older, our perceptions of time grows shorter. This explains why when we were children, it felt like it took forever for our birthdays to arrive, but now it seems like we find ourselves growing older at a pretty regular pace. I recently found myself thinking a lot about this fact in relation to the last 4 years. For the life of me, there's one thing I could not understand. If this is true, that our perceptions of time grow shorter as we grow older, then why have these felt like the longest 4 years of my life? Okay, I reflected on everything that took place since I started high school, and then everything kind of just made sense. These 4 years felt long because they've been the most important years yet. These are the years that I really discovered who I am, the years when I grew up, make limits, and the years that I made better friends than I ever could have hoped for. The best things that happen in life aren't always the things you do. Sometimes it's the moments or the things that happen to you that make for the best moments in life. These last 4 years may have been long, tedious, difficult, and stressful, but I was meant to experience them because they also have all the best moments, funniest laughs, wildest adventures, most mind-blowing revelations, the biggest smiles, and our greatest victories. I got to experience all of this with a group of people more phenomenal than you could ever know. Let me take you all back to the beginning. Although we weren't all in the same class on day one, a lot of us were in Mr. Green's English 1 course on the first day of freshman year. I remember looking around at all the different faces before class started and thinking, wow, I'm surrounded by the best WSFCS has to offer right now. And I was not wrong. That first day was awkwardly quiet. In fact, it was so quiet that you could hear the conversations of the upperclassmen in the adjacent classrooms. The sophomores in the classroom next to us burst out laughing way louder than any of us had heard from a classroom during middle school, and we all looked around exchanging confused glances. I think this was the first hint at how great of a time I was going to have at ECF. Then Mr. Green walked into the classroom and said, "You all might be quiet now, but I give it 1 week before you all sound like this too." Like most of my other classmates, I was skeptical of this, but as we soon found out throughout the semester, Mr. Green being wrong is a pretty rare occasion. 1 week later, although we had not realized it yet, we all began friendships that would last all throughout high school and that would probably last our whole lives. As time passed, we all grew in so many different ways. When I first walked into Ardmore Hall on that fateful August day in 2013, I was a shy, reserved, relatively quiet person. Now most people don't even remember there being a time when I could be described as quiet. It only took 2 months before I was wearing a pink wig in front of my class during Spirit Week, claiming to be Nicki Minaj for Character Day. Then there were so many great memories to follow. There was the 23 class with Mr. Juan Savage and all the crazy inside jokes we made, which reminds me, today's Turtle Hands Tuesday, you guys. Don't forget. Then there was the time when we all gathered around Ion in Miss Morrow's English class and listened to her play Pumped Up Kicks on guitar for our catalyst of the day. And then I'll never forget, there was also the time in Miss Weevil's AFM class when she told us to isolate the variable, and Lawrence interrupted class as if he had the biggest revelation of all time. He said, isolate. Isolate? And you could see the gears turning in his head, and he proudly announced his new joke to the class. And say the punchline with me if you remember it. Don't leave me hanging. That man LJ said, "Isolate to class." I'm sorry. Well, that was one of the lamest jokes we had ever heard. It made for one of the funniest memories. And I don't know how to convey to you all just how enjoyable spending time with the class of 2017 has been for me. But to put it into perspective, if a lame joke like that made memories, imagine all the fun we had with the good jokes. It's amazing to see how an entire group can all just transform out of nowhere. We are those same kids who were silent as a mouse on that first day of school, but we easily became the loudest class in ECF history. I mean, we actually got banned from hanging out downstairs before class in freshman year because of noise complaints. And I know I'm not the only one who's been kicked out of the library on occasion for the same reason. But then, it just happened one day. Another class transformation took place. We grew up. And I can't tell you exactly when it happened or even how it happened. Really, I can't even tell you exactly what happened, but I can tell you why it happened. The world we live in is a crazy, scary place. It's been in desperate need for a group of efficient, dependable, and capable people to make sense out of everything that's happening in the world. We are those people. These last 4 years at early college have ensured that we can rise to any challenge placed before us, even the ones that we don't think we can overcome. If the 14-year-old version of myself knew beforehand the difficulties that this school would task me with, there is no way I would have applied. I would have been too scared. I would have thought that there was no way I could handle what was expected of me. Now that I know how worthwhile this journey has been, I would tell that same kid, you will go to early college and it will be the best decision you've ever made. Will it be easy? Not even slightly. You'll pull countless all-nighters to finish papers, learn how to read epic poems from before English was fully developed, handwrite not one, but two 80-page daybooks, followed by two more 35-page ones, have a 10-hour calculus study session with Luke, Jackie, and Harley, just to fail the test the next day. And yes, at one point, Miss Morrow actually will ask you to literally change the world for a project grade, and that's hardly even a fraction of what will be asked for you over the next 4 years. But if you work hard, never give up, and really apply yourself, you'll come out on top and you'll be richer for the experience. I would say that to that 14-year-old with confidence, knowing that this is the undeniable truth. People at other schools always say that we didn't get the traditional high school experience, and they're right. We got the good high school experience. ECF gave me every opportunity that I ever wanted in an environment I proudly call home. I never knew that high school teachers could care so much about their students until I met ECF staff. They've all been brilliant throughout every step of our journey, never hesitating to surpass all expectations one could have for their teachers and faculty. Without their constant support and guidance, none of us would be quite who we are today, and I cannot thank them enough for everything they've done for us. I attended 5 schools before starting high school at ECF. Before getting here, I hated school, and I never thought that a school can make such a dramatic impact on my outlook and approach to school the way that ECF has. This has been such a unique environment for me to grow in as a student. I mean, where else on earth can you walk up to someone and greet them by saying, "Caw!" Like as a formal greeting. Being surrounded by such fantastic people has inspired me to always strive for my best, and I wouldn't be half the man I am today if I had gone anywhere else. Saying that early College of Forsyth is one of the best schools in the nation is such an understatement. We're easily the #1 school in the nation. The rest of the world just hasn't realized it yet, but they will soon. This is a wonderful place where I was not only accepted, but tremendously supported by a group of purely amazing students, unlike those that you could find anywhere else. For example, Andrea Volkin is a tennis legend. Isabella is a musical virtuoso. Luke and Lawrence are the kings of the basketball court, not to mention Lawrence is a grade A photographer. Blair can and regularly has read entire novels in less than a day. Ion could easily win So You Think You Can Dance with her killer Macarena skills. Andrea Romero is one of the toughest girls I know, and she's obviously one of the most patient girls of all time since she's put up with me and Luke for 4 years. Devin's so quick-witted that she's never let a punch buggy go by without beating me to the punch. Cypra's the best mathematician I know. The first time I met Michaela, she casually informed me that she recently ran a half marathon, which I could never do, let alone at 14 years old like she did. Bradley, Brandon, and Andrea are courageous enough to join the Marines after high school, and if you haven't heard Summer Brielle recite poetry yet, you need to go do that immediately because it is just life-altering. And these are just the examples that are popping into my mind as I write this speech. If you want more examples, find me after the ceremony, and I will gladly talk up this class for at least another 20 minutes. We are an amazing class, and that's why we've grown into more than friends. I look at the graduates in front of me, and I see brothers and sisters out there. We are a family. Even though we have drama, arguments, and conflicts every now and then, who's able to name a family that doesn't? The important thing is that we all made it to the end of this journey together, as a family, and I couldn't have asked for a better family to spend my high school experience with. And although this speech is running longer than I planned for it to, I want to leave you with one last word of advice, and I have a story to tell. It's a little bit of a weird story, but bear with me. Last semester in English 4, as I was explaining to the class one of the Canterbury Tales I was assigned to read, I said, and I quote, "They brought a buttload of wine to their feast." Mr. Green stopped me and asked, "Did you just use the term buttload?" And in that moment, it clicked in my mind that I really did just use that term in front of my honors English course. Even though I was so sure that I had grown up and was a mature young adult, those words came out of my mouth. Now I had a decision to make. Do I back away from what I said, or do I be confident in who I am and own it? So I looked at Mr. Green, and I proudly said, "Yes, sir, buttload," meaning a lot. Mr. Green, now seeing that I was confident in my selection of words, nodded, and I continued with my explanation. In that to be your friend. I wouldn't want you guys to change anything. Every year, the class president's speech talks about how they have the best class ever. I don't need to bore you with the details of why we truly are the best class early college has ever had or ever will have, because you all already know that. We proved that when we set the record for the most scholarship money raised in ECF history. Instead, I'll tell you why we'll be the most memorable class. Our class has the quickest thinkers, the boldest personalities, and the most creative minds. I know without a doubt that we will all succeed in our own fields, and I'm willing to bet that some of us will go on to be famous one day, and ECF will always be able to look at us and take pride in our accomplishments. We will never be forgotten. And so, I'll conclude this speech with a quote from one of my favorite TV shows, How I Met Your Mother, delivered by the amazing Robin Scherbatsky and legendary Barney Stinson. The future is scary, but you can't just run back to the past because it's familiar. Yes, it's tempting, but it's a mistake. As much as I would like to never let go of these beautiful moments and be surrounded by these great friends I've made forever, it's time that we all move forward and never look back. We're going to wake up tomorrow morning, breathe in the fresh air, and realize that we're in the real world now. And that will be scary to some of us, but do not ever give up, because we are all destined for success. We may stumble along the way, but we'll never give up, and we'll be there to help each other and keep going until we succeed. Never stop moving forward, because there's nothing, and I mean nothing, the world can throw at you that you can't handle. And one day, when we're reunited, sitting at the top of the world together, we'll all be able to trace the origins of our 47 different success stories back here, to this school, to this class, and to this very moment. I just want to thank you guys for every countless opportunity and memory you've ever given to me over the years. I'll hold those with me forever. Nobody's believed in me the way you guys have, and I believe in you all just as much. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see where life takes you after graduation. With that, we truly have made it to the end. Congratulations, early College of Forsyth's graduating class of 2017. Following the tradition that's taken place at the end of graduation speeches in the last few years, I will now take a selfie with the class of 2017.
And we can add one more first to the class of 2017, the worst selfie taker ever. We now have a special presentation. I would like to ask Andrea Isabel Volcan Rivero to come on stage. This year, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School District decided, with the help of school staff, teachers, central office staff, administrators, parents, and students across the district, to adopt 6 words that demonstrate our core values. They are student-centered, accountability, integrity, high expectations, collaboration, equity, and student-centered. We hope that in our school we have demonstrated these core values throughout the year. Today, we would like to start a new tradition with the class of 2017. So because we believe in equity and honor diversity, we are going to act with integrity by aligning our actions, beliefs, and values to support every student and family. I would like to introduce Andrea Volcan's salutatorian of the class of 2017, translating key parts of our ceremony for our Spanish-speaking guests. Andrea will be translating for Mr. One Savage, and let me introduce Mr. One Savage. Paul graduated from NC State University in 2009, magna cum laude, and started working at ECF in 2010. He was the Promise Teacher of the Year in 2011 for the entire Winston-Salem Forsyth County School System. He was the ECF Teacher of the Year in 2012. In 2014, he was selected as an Outstanding Secondary Math Teacher of the Year. While at ECF, he was the Drama Club sponsor, Math Department Chair, Senior Coordinator, and additionally, he was selected to participate in the Governor's Teacher Network to create resources for high school math teachers in 2014 and 2015. As many of you know, Mr. Juan Savage ended up leaving us in September of this year. He started his master's degree, and then he was offered a position as a graduate research assistant, enabling him to go back to school full-time to earn his master's degree at UNCG in math education. As part of the assistantship, he works with math educators across the state of North Carolina for the North Carolina Collaborative for Mathematics Learning Project, which is a research practice partnership that includes the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, universities, and school districts across the state of North Carolina, where teachers, district leaders, and state leaders, mathematicians, and researchers work together to support mathematics education in North Carolina. He will graduate with his master's degree this summer and start his PhD program at UNCG for educational studies in August. He is married to Brittany, his high school sweetheart, and will soon be the father of son Carter that we are expecting in June. His speech is entitled Graduation Eyes.
Thank you, Ms. Cook, for the introduction. Graduation is always one of my favorite days of the school year, so thank you for having me here to speak today. It is truly an honor to be part of y'all's special day, so if I don't say it enough, congratulations. Every single one of you has earned your spot here today. Enjoy it, you deserve it.
Gracias por su introducción, señora Cook. El día de la graduación siempre ha sido uno de mis días preferidos del año escolar. Y quiero agradecerles por dejarme hablar el día de hoy. Es un honor formar parte de este día tan especial. Entonces, por si acaso no lo digo suficiente, felicidades. Cada uno de ustedes se ha ganado su puesto. Disfrútenlo, se lo merecen.
So back in November, I was asked to help one of my professors with piloting an interview protocol that she was going to use for her research. The interview asked questions about how prepared I felt when I first started teaching, and then went on to ask about various aspects of my teaching experience. One of the questions in particular was particularly memorable because I surprised myself with my response. My professor asked, "Can you share a specific time in your teaching career that didn't go well?"
En noviembre del año pasado, una colega me pidió colaborar con su trabajo en una entrevista piloto para su investigación. Una de las preguntas era, ¿qué tan preparado me sentía cuando comencé a enseñar? Y otras preguntas sobre varios aspectos de mi experiencia como educador. Hubo una pregunta inolvidable, porque hasta yo me sorprendí con mi respuesta. La profesora me preguntó, ¿puedes compartir un momento en particular de tu carrera como profesor donde no te fue bien?
So as I thought about my years at ECF, I tried to think of a story that really satisfied what she was looking for in a response. But before I tell you what I told her, I wanted to start with a few things that I didn't say.
A medida que pensaba en los años que pasé en la escuela Forsyth, trataba de recordar una historia que verdaderamente satisfaciera lo que ella esperaba escuchar como respuesta. Pero antes de contarles lo que dije, voy a decirles un par de cosas que dejé por fuera en mi respuesta.
They say it takes a couple of years for a teacher to find his or her classroom groove, to really know the content, to figure out what works and what doesn't, and develop one's classroom personality. It wasn't until I had you, the class of 2017, in my freshman and sophomore Math 2 and Math 3 classes that I really started to figure out who I was as a teacher.
Dicen por ahí que toma un par de años para que un profesor encuentre su rumbo en el salón de clases, para saber el contenido muy bien, descifrar qué funciona y qué no, y para uno poder desarrollar su personalidad. No fue hasta que los tuve a ustedes como alumnos, clase del 2017, estudiantes del primer y segundo año en matemáticas 2 y 3, que realmente comencé a reflexionar quién era yo como profesor.
Common Core Math 2 and Math 3 were brand new in North Carolina when you started at ECF, and in an effort to teach these new standards, I got a bit creative in the context that I situated my lessons within. As all of you probably remember, I came up with some pretty elaborate stories about all the cool things I had done prior to my years at ECF.
Cuando ustedes comenzaron en la escuela Forsyth, los estándares comunes de matemáticas 2 y 3 eran nuevos en Carolina del Norte, y en un esfuerzo para enseñar esos nuevos estándares, yo fui un poco creativo en mis lecciones. Como ustedes recordarán, yo creé varias historias ficticias acerca de increíbles experiencias que yo había tenido antes de enseñar en esta escuela.
For example, when we were learning about similar triangles, I bragged about how I used to ride motorbikes and do jumps over canyons. Or when we learned about circles, I told you how I used to be a stunt double for Richard Dean Anderson on the show MacGyver. With every scenario, I love seeing you roll your eyes in disbelief as the legend of Mr. Wan grew, even if it was in my own mind.
Por ejemplo, cuando les estaba enseñando acerca de los triángulos similares, yo presumía acerca de cómo manejaba mi motocicleta y saltaba sobre cañones, o cuando les enseñaba sobre círculos y les dije que había sido el doble de Richard Dean Anderson en el show MacGyver. Con cada historia me divertía viéndolos mover sus ojos, enseñar de incredulidad. A medida que iba creciendo la leyenda del señor Wong, aunque así lo creyera yo en mi mente.
After noticing how much you seemed to like my tall tales, I tried to make up the most ridiculous stories possible, all the while making sure that we were learning mathematics.
Cuando me di cuenta lo mucho que ustedes disfrutaban mis fantasías, yo traté de inventar historias aún más ridículas, mientras me aseguraba que aprendían matemáticas.
Remember the time I had my own restaurant when we learned about combinations? It was called Wan's Burger Shack. Every item on the menu was something with potatoes, French fries, tater tots, potato salad, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, potato soup. Imagine Bubba from the movie Forrest Gump, but instead of shrimp, think potatoes. Someone asked, why is it called a burger shack if you only serve potatoes? My response was something to the effect of, why not? And how else am I going to keep you interested in math class first thing on a Monday morning?
¿Recuerdan la vez que tuve mi propio restaurante mientras aprendían combinaciones? Se llamaba hamburguesas Wong. Cada uno de los platillos en el menú estaba hecho con papas. Papas fritas, papitas, ensalada de papas, papas horneadas, puré de papas, sopa de papas. Imaginen Bubba de la película Forrest Gump, pero en lugar de camarones son papas. Alguien preguntó, ¿por qué dijo que era un restaurante de hamburguesas si solo sirven papas? Mi respuesta fue algo así como, ¿por qué no? ¿De qué otra manera los iba a mantener interesados en mi clase de matemáticas un lunes a primera hora de la mañana?
As I think about all the lessons we learned together, one of the most memorable was when we were learning about permutations and the number of different 4-digit access codes there could be to access the swimming pool at the top of the tech building. That pool is really cool, isn't it? It has the lazy river and the big slide. I feel like we started an urban legend that will last for years to come. I think we should also note that Ms. Connor has your access code, and all you need to do is ask her for it.
Cuando pienso en todas las lecciones que aprendimos juntos, una de las más inolvidables fue cuando aprendimos acerca de permutaciones y del código de acceso de 4 dígitos para entrar a la piscina de la terraza del edificio Tech. Esa alberca es genial, ¿cierto? Tiene un río con curvas y un tobogán de agua. Siento que iniciamos una leyenda urbana que perdurará por muchos años. Creo que deberían saber que la señora Connor tiene el código de acceso, así que pueden pedírselo.
Now, I want you all to remember this is what I didn't say in the interview. I mean, all of these stories were great, but none of them exemplified a teaching moment that didn't go so well.
Ahora quiero que sepan que esto no fue lo que dije en la entrevista. Todas esas historias fueron geniales, pero ninguna de ellas refleja un mal momento de mi instrucción.
So at this point, I had been staring into space for probably about 15 seconds, and my professor was starting to worry. So as most of you probably know, during an interview, if you don't have an answer to an interview question, ask the interviewer to repeat the question, and that will buy you at least 5 more seconds to rack your brain for a response. So I did that, but 5 seconds later, I was still at a loss for words.
A ese punto, había estado perdido en el espacio por 15 segundos y mi colega se empezó a preocupar. Como muchos de ustedes deben saber, durante una entrevista, si tú no sabes la respuesta de una pregunta, pide al entrevistador que te repita la pregunta y así tendrás mínimo 5 segundos para dar una respuesta. Así que lo hice, pero 5 segundos más tarde todavía no sabía qué decir.
I want all of you to think back to junior seminar when we were learning about writing personal statements. I gave you my formula for writing killer personal statements. Do you remember what I said? Spend the first third of your personal statement telling a story, and spend the last 2/3 telling the reader what they should have learned. So keeping with that advice, so far I've shared a story, and now I need to tell you what you should learn from that story.
Quiero que todos recuerden la clase de seminario de tercer año, cuando aprendieron a escribir sus ensayos personales. Yo les di mi fórmula para escribir ensayos fulminantes. ¿Se acuerdan lo que les dije? Para el primer tercio de su ensayo, escriban una historia y para el segundo tercio, díganle al lector que debieron haber aprendido. Basada en esta sugerencia, yo he compartido una experiencia, una historia, y ahora les voy a decir lo que debieron haber aprendido de esta historia.
Well, I told you a couple of things. I had an interview, I couldn't answer one of the interview questions, and all of my thoughts were of things like burger shacks that only serve potatoes, and there's a swimming pool on top of the tech building. Well, this should be murder. She wrote, trying to tie all these things together. Family and friends, if you're wondering what that was about, just know that it's just one of those silly things I did to keep everyone's attention in math class on a Monday morning.
Bueno, les dije unas cuantas cosas. Tuve una entrevista, no pude responder una de las preguntas y todos mis pensamientos fueron sobre el restaurante de hamburguesas, en donde solo sirven papas, y en la piscina del edificio Tech. Bueno, esto debería ser la muerte. Ella escribió, tratando de unir todas estas ideas. Amigos y familiares, si ustedes están preguntándose de qué se trata todo esto, solo deben saber que es una más de las cosas chistosas que hice en la clase de matemáticas para mantener la atención de todos un lunes a primera hora de la mañana.
So back to what I was saying. Why did I share that story, and what should you know after hearing it? Well, after I asked my professor to repeat the interview question, I responded much to my embarrassment that I couldn't remember a time that didn't go well in the classroom. I seriously could not remember a time. As you all know, I have a memory for details like a steel trap. So it was very unusual that I couldn't remember a time to share in the interview, because I know they do exist. Everyone has an off day, right?
Volviendo a lo que había dicho, ¿por qué decidí compartir esa historia y qué deberían saber después de escucharla? Bueno, después de pedirle a mi colega que repitiera la pregunta, con mucha vergüenza le pedí que no podía recordar un mal momento en mi clase. En serio, no pude recordar un mal momento. Como todos ustedes saben, tengo una memoria capaz de recordar hasta el más mínimo detalle. Así que es muy inusual que no pudiera recordar un mal momento para compartir durante la entrevista, porque sé que los hubo. Todos tenemos un mal día, ¿cierto?
In graduate school, they often ask you to reflect on your experience, much like you did in your daybooks from Miss Morrow, or in my math EQ journals. Good memories, right? So anyways, I decided to reflect on the interview, and in my moment of reflection, I realized that the reason my memory had failed was because of a phenomenon that I like to refer to as graduation eyes. I know other people have other names for it, but I like to call it graduation eyes. Now, I'm not talking about when your eye makeup for photos is on fleek. Wait, did I say that right?
En la universidad, con frecuencia te piden que reflexiones sobre tus experiencias, muy similar a como lo hacen en los cuadernos para la señora Morrow o en mis diarios de preguntas esenciales de matemáticas. Buenos recuerdos, ¿verdad? Entonces, decidí meditar en la entrevista y en un momento de reflexión me di cuenta que la razón por la cual mi memoria falló fue debido a un fenómeno al cual me gusta referirme como los ojos de graduación. Ahora, yo no estoy hablando de cuando tus ojos están bien maquillados para las fotos. Espera, ¿lo dije bien?
So when I say graduation eyes, I'm talking about a habit of the mind to make past memories about a person, a place, a thing, or an experience outshine all the not so good ones. I would even argue that the good memories outshine the not so great ones to the point that you forget them. And that has been my experience teaching at ECF. Rub-a-dub-dub.
Cuando yo digo ojos de graduación, me refiero a un hábito de la mente, de hacer que los recuerdos del pasado acerca de una persona, con lugar, cosa o experiencia resalten más que los no tan buenos. Hasta podría argumentar que los buenos recuerdos resaltan al punto que se te olvidan los malos recuerdos. Y esta ha sido mi experiencia enseñando en la escuela de Forsyth. Rub-a-dub-dub.
Just to show you that graduation eyes is a real thing, I want you all to take a few seconds and think about a great memory you have about your time at ECF. You know what I was thinking about? There's a reason graduation got moved from a Thursday to a Tuesday, and it had nothing to do with Forsyth Tech. It was because I wanted you to have one last Turtle Hands Tuesday before you graduate. For those of you who don't know, Turtle Hands Tuesday is another one of those weird things that Mr. Wan does in his class, and it's a preferred method for eating a slice of pizza on a Tuesday.
Solo para demostrarle que los ojos de graduación son algo real, quiero que tomen un par de segundos y piensen en un gran momento que han tenido durante este tiempo en la escuela Forsyth. ¿Saben en qué estaba pensando? Hay una razón por la cual el día de graduación fue cambiado de un jueves para un martes y no tiene nada que ver con Forsyth Tech. Fue porque yo quise que tuvieran un último martes de mano de tortuga en la escuela Forsyth. Para aquellos de ustedes que no saben, el martes de mano de tortugas es otra de las cosas raras que hace el señor Wong en su clase y es su método preferido para comer un pedazo de pizza los martes.
So once again, I'm straying from my point. So what do graduation highs have to do with you? I hope that all of you have graduation eyes about ECF. In the upcoming months, some of you will be heading off to college, working full-time jobs, joining a branch of the military, or just taking some time to figure out your next steps. Regardless of your journey, I hope that when you think about ECF or meet new people and tell them where you went to school, I hope you will have graduation eyes. I hope you will remember the good times like the winter dance, the Raven Knob trips, the lock-in, the drama plays, the SGA events, the spring fling and fall fest, just to name a few. I hope you remember the friendships you made because although you were all headed in different directions, the bonds you formed here at early college will stay with you for the rest of your life. With that said, it's time to go out into the world and do great things. But as you look back at your time at ECF, do so with graduation eyes. I know I do.
Una vez más, me desvío de mi punto final. ¿Qué tienen que ver los ojos de graduación contigo? Espero que todos ustedes tengan los ojos de graduación de la escuela Forsyth. En los próximos meses, algunos de ustedes estarán yendo a la universidad en empleos a tiempo completo, formando parte de una rama de la milicia o tomándose un tiempo para decidir sus siguientes pasos. Independientemente de lo que hayan decidido, espero que cuando piensen en la escuela de Forsyth, conozcan personas, les digan a qué escuela fuiste y espero tengas ojos de graduación. Espero que puedas recordar los buenos momentos, como el baile de invierno, los paseos a Raven Knob, el encierro, las obras de teatro, los eventos de la asociación estudiantil, los festivales de primavera y otoño, para mencionar algunos. Espero recuerden los amigos que hicieron, porque aunque vayan en direcciones diferentes, los lazos que formaron aquí, en la escuela Forsyth, van a permanecer con ustedes el resto de sus vidas. Ante lo dicho, es tiempo de salir al mundo y hacer grandes cosas. Pero cuando mires atrás y el tiempo que pasaste en la escuela Forsyth, hazlo con los ojos de graduación. Yo lo hago.
Thank you.
Gracias.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the Early College of Forsyth valedictorian of 2017, Sipra Vadia.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2017 Early College of Forsyth graduation ceremony. We are here to celebrate Early College's 6th graduating class and recognize all the many accomplishments of all the students sitting in front of us today. Our class, while it's had its ups and downs, has grown to become an incredible group of people that I'm extremely grateful to have known. ECF has become our home away from home, with hours and hours spent in the library and the Learning Center, eating lunch every day at the field, and getting clowns to chase friends at Scarowinds. We went from spending 3 hours every Friday sitting in freshman seminar to belting out Phantom of the Opera at our senior prom, and I couldn't have imagined a better group of people to spend these last 4 years with. I want to take this moment to thank the class of 2017, all of the ECF faculty and staff, my parents, my brothers, and my friends for all of the support they've given me over the past 4 years. And I want to extend this thanks to all the friends and families that have supported each and every student sitting in the audience today and recognize them with a round of applause. We couldn't have done it without you. Looking back, we've all come a long way since our first year here, and a lot of us are in much different places than we had originally planned. Over the past 4 years, ECF has taught us a lot of different things, but I think that is one of the most important. You can never truly know where you're going to be in the future and what you'll be doing. There's always room for change and always a chance that something isn't going to go the way you expected. But our years here at ECF have proven time and time again that the only way you can move past an obstacle is to keep moving forward and to never lose hope in what you're capable of. I would like to leave everyone with 3 lessons that I've learned with the help of all the people here today that have helped me learn to start accepting changes as they come, and I hope they can be remembered over the next few years. The first is that you can only succeed if you try, and when mistakes are made, you can learn from those mistakes and use them to drive your passions and the goals you want to achieve. Everyone here has made a mistake at some point in their life. Mistakes are often hard to acknowledge and even harder to accept and move past. But when they are accepted, the comeback can completely overtake any mistake that was leading up to it, because the results and the process of reaching those results can entirely change a person and help them beyond what was ever imagined. Our class was able to transform from a group of people that were not necessarily focused on what was at hand and were making excuses to distract ourselves, to realizing what was really important to each of us individually and working towards what we want no matter the situation. We heard some of the stories last night of the hours and hours that people spent working to get through ECF and to make sure that they can turn around and stay in the program. And I think the motivation that was developed to do that in itself is extremely impressive. The second is to appreciate the experiences that you have, good or bad, because the experiences are what will help you learn and grow as a person. Experiences will give you an extra boost that can't be brought about otherwise, and there will always be a reason you are faced with a certain aspect of your life. It's a matter of choosing to use that part of your life to grow or not. There have been moments in our class, good and bad, from getting banned from the Ardmore lobby to making ECF history with scholarships that want to be remembered and want to be forgotten. But all of these experiences can instead be valued because of the memories that they hold for each of us to interpret in our own way and apply to our future. The third and last piece of advice I have is to acknowledge the people around you and take the time to be the best person you can be. We are surrounded by people that we see every day, but we don't always recognize that and make the time to get to know them. There are custodians and secretaries, librarians, teachers, and even other students that we see, but often never think to smile at them or say hello. Even the smallest gesture of holding the elevator for somebody can entirely change that person's outlook for the day, while also giving you the motivation and satisfaction of doing better by helping others and actually getting to know the people that you see walking past. The class of 2017 is a group of amazing people that are made to do remarkable things. I know each and every person in our class will be doing something extraordinary in the next few years, no matter which path they choose to take. With all of the support that I got from this class and the friendships that I have made, I can't put into words how thankful I am to be a part of this class and to know all of you. ECF gave us all the privilege of becoming the people that we are today, and I want to wish everyone the best wherever you go. And finally, after 4 long, but not quite long enough years at ECF, Class of 2017, congratulations.
We will now have our presentation of diplomas.
Gabrielle Marie Allison. Caitlin Ray Anderson. Samuel Bueno Antunez. Josephine Karen Armstrong. Ion Manasseh Baker. Amber Lynn Burchett. Jacob Michael Klaus. Brianna Grace Combs. Summer Kira Cottrell. Blair Elizabeth Dahl. Christian David Debula. Devin Michaela Duggins. Wook Brenton Lampawag Duhig. Julia Ann Fowler. Catherine Gabrielle Giambaluca.
Joseph David Grace. Michaela Lee Granger. Nathaniel Andrew Goldberg. Anthony Orlando Guzman. Julia Cheyenne Hyatt. Philip Isaac Kester. Nellie Elena Lara.